What's up, everybody?
Hey guys, and welcome to our channel. If you are new here, please subscribe. And thank you guys so much for stopping back by. If you are an oldie but a goodie.
Oh, also, don't forget, hit that bell icon so you get the notifications whenever we post, because you don't want to miss one single episode.
Yes, we talking about some good stuff.
Speaking of which, thank you, baby. You better be talking. Anyway, so the first topic that first off, you guys went way above and beyond with the topics. Like, y'all smashed with that jump. So, we have a lot of different topics to discuss, but that would take hours of content, and we just don't want to overload y'all with that type of stuff in one sitting. So we're gonna take one at a time. The first comment that we read was about how long does it take for a man to know that she's the one.
Okay, that's gonna be good.
Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna answer it with a story. So at first, we met at church, and what's crazy to me is I was so broken at the time when we were talking that I actually told her that I didn't want to be married and I didn't want to have kids because, for whatever reason, I felt that way. And the likelihood of me fighting around was pretty high. So, yeah, your boy was going to be out here doing stuff he ain't had no business doing.
Well,
but I thank God that he sent me the right one.
His saving power.
Because it could have been another way.
See, it could have been another way.
I'm preaching better than y'all receiving. But anyway, so I actually saw her a few weeks before we actually ever met. And I heard her sing. And she was like messing up on the parts or whatever. Well, she was messing up on the words. She was messing up on the parts. She was messing up on the words.
I wasn't messing up on
girl, you know you was messing up on the words. You said you was messing up on the words.
No, I was not. That was a totally different song and a totally different time. I'm being serious.
Okay, it's about time for a miracle that you couldn't forget.
No, pause, because let me clear that up. No, that time I did know it. At that time. All
I remember was CJ and Alex were laughing because you kept messing up on the words.
I don't know. I was either messing up on the words or the tempo.
I was messing up on something.
The timing. I was messing up on something. I really don't think it was the words.
Well, either way.
But that second time, we went in. Like, we church. Let me put that out there.
Anyway, so by a few weeks later, I actually saw her after church, and I had to get to know her. I was like, yo, excuse me, miss, and I said that joint like 3 or 4 times. And
like, it was so bad, so I was like, oh my gosh, can somebody answer this man? Which I didn't think that he was talking to me because, I mean, it was hot and I was ready to go. You know how it is. You done churched all day. You ready to go home and eat and get that good church nap. And this guy, I just keep hearing this guy yelling, excuse me, miss, and it's just like...
Yeah, hold on. Because my son want to talk too. So, basically what ended up happening was, I told her that, and she to this day thinks that I was trying to run game, but I really wasn't. I was just telling her what was on my heart. I was like,
no, I didn't think that. No.
Well, you always say it like I do.
No.
Hey, I still got them digits anyway, though.
Anyway, we cutting this part out.
I ain't cutting it out.
Yes,
anyway. So, I walked up to her. I was like, yeah, I need your vocals like I need a heart to beat in my chest. And
no, you said background vocals.
Anyway.
No, you said I need you to sing background like I need my heart to beat in my chest.
So, see, the next topic we're going to talk about is pride. Because, see...
No, so like I was saying, he was like, I need your background vocals like I need my heart to beat in my chest. And I said, excuse me? Because I felt some kind of way. Like, first off, who do you think you are? So much you need me like you need your heart beating in your chest. And secondly, I tongue do better. No, I'm joking.
So our next topic is gonna be about pride.
Seriously, I'm joking.
Nah, after that, we ended up talking, and I realized that she and I we had an affinity for each other before she realized it about me. Like I was like, man, she's really, really cool. Like,
Okay, pause. See, he's skipping parts.
I ain't skipping nothing. I'm getting to it.
No, here's a major thing. Okay, so I'm gonna sum this up really quickly. So, long story short, we ended up exchanging numbers because I was like, okay, and I had heard his music, and he seemed to, have some real good music, and so I was like, okay, no, I had not heard your music.
You heard me sing that night.
Okay, so what happened was I ended up I was like, well, let me give him a shot or whatever, because I know that he had been having like listening parties and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, he may seem legit and maybe going somewhere. So okay, so we exchanged numbers, and that night we talked. He let me hear. He sent his music over. He let me hear him sing, because I had never heard him sing. I just always heard that he could, and so I was like, oh my god! Like I heard his music and he could sing, and I was like, whoa, like wow. This is somebody who I could really work with. So that night, yeah, he's a trip. He put out there, I'm just gonna let you know.
Wait, it was the first night?
Yes. Yeah. You were like, I'm just gonna let y'all know, not y'all, sorry. I'm just gonna let you know that I'm not attracted to you. Or what did you say? Because you know exactly what you said.
So, okay, so I knew it had the potential to go somewhere, so I was like, look, it's not that type of party. Like, I'm
what that sound like? He was
I'm not trying to get with you. Because, okay, music is extremely, extremely personal. You open up a space of you that is extremely volatile and vulnerable. And so when two people get together and they start making music, stuff can happen. Mm-hmm. So like, and I knew she wasn't a bad looking girl, and I ain't no ugly dude, so I already knew stuff could happen. And then on top of that, kind of getting a vibe for her personality, I kind of felt like, okay, this has the potential to go somewhere. So I want her to know that this is business. So I was like, yo, this ain't that type of trip. I'm trying to actually get this money. Like, I'm trying to get this music done. And
I was very offended, because I'm like, whoever said that I was attracted to you, first off, like,
I was just being straight up though.
But now I see why he said what he said. Like, it makes a lot of sense. But at that time, like, for this to be my first time talking to you, like, I was very offended.
So we're gonna skip a little bit. We're gonna skip to the funeral.
So fast forward,
about 4 months.
Yeah, so fast forward, we talked every single day.
Yeah. Now there was a general progression. Like, we didn't just start out talking every day. I think we went maybe a couple times a week, and then it started.
Then he started calling me a lot, and which I didn't think anything about it, because he was a cool guy, and I'm like, this is a good friendship, stuff like that. So we started talking on a consistent basis. Let's say that, and probably because we met that August, so probably like that December, there was a death in his family, and I think that like really brought us closer. And I want to say maybe a week after that funeral,
which I played, by the way. I don't even know how I got through that whole situation.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I helped him sing.
She did.
But after that funeral, he like kind of just spilled his heart out to me.
And she laughed at me. Check. She laughed. Like, bruh, I was so embarrassed after that conversation. I'm like, yo, I feel like I really want to tell you that I want to be with you. And she was like,
no. So
and I was like, so
no, this is what he said. He was like, I'm really attracted to you. And it was hilarious. But, like, the irony of it is what was so hilarious. It wasn't that I was laughing at you. It was just
she was
hilarious.
just laughing with me. But I wasn't laughing.
It was just hilarious. Because, okay, one, The very first night, she made a point to let me know that, this is not going anywhere, this is strictly business. And then you tell me that you're attracted to me. Okay. Two, there's an age gap between us. And he also let me know that same night, the first night, he let me know, I don't date girls younger than me. So that was hilarious. Not only that, one of our church members at the time, she saw it. Like, even when we didn't see it, she saw it. And she was like, what's going on between you guys? And I'm like, nothing. We're good friends, And she said, mm-hmm. So she saw it. So it was so many ironic things till it was just hilarious because I was about to get off the phone that night and he was like, I have something to tell you. You need to get something off my chest. And so I'm like, okay, what's up? And, he's like, I'm really attracted to you. And like you could tell, like now thinking back, I could tell like, okay, it took a lot of courage to tell me that. And so I laughed. I was like, okay, what was my response besides the laugh?
Man, I don't even remember.
I think we just kind of
I was
got
so
off the
done.
phone
I was so
after
done
that.
out there hearing you laugh. I was like, man, bruh, she laughed at me. Like, I went to work the next day. I was like, bruh, I told my crush that I was feeling her, and she laughed at me. That was like, oh, that's a tough break, Jay. And I was like,
yeah. So anyway, so that night I ended up calling him because I ain't heard from him all day. I mean, usually like we'll text, send a few texts here and there throughout the day. Didn't hear from him. So I called him that night and was like, hey, what's up? I ain't talked to you all day. And he was
and
like,
I was shocked.
yeah, he was like, which I still didn't, like I don't understand why he was shocked.
You laughed at me. So I'm thinking, dang, I was shot bad. I need to go ahead and just, tuck my tail between my legs and just go.
Nah,
So,
I was like, no, you don't get off that easy. Like, okay, like at the time, I wasn't necessarily attracted to him. But I was like, I mean, you cool people. Like, no, you don't just run away from me like that. So, all right, so our baby, he wants to kind of whine.
he wants to talk to.
Yeah, so I decided, hey, mommy will pick you up. He's like, mommy, pick me up. I want to be in it too. So anyway, back to what we were saying. So I was like, no, you don't get to, no, you don't get to leave that easily. So we continued our friendship, and somewhere along the line, it became a mutual attraction. I started noticing that he exhibited a lot of the qualities that I pray for in a man. And the relationship just kind of blossomed from there. So I'll let you tell your side.
So we getting down to the answer. So what ended
Now
up?
has some backstory.
Yeah, it take a while to get down this road, but when I knew, I can't say it was instantaneous. It wasn't one of those situations where angels came out of the sky and God Himself told me from clouds that this was my wife. It was one of those situations where everything that I prayed for lined up. And
Same.
I realized after that, I was like, yo, this is who I want to be with for the rest of my life. And it didn't take me all day to realize that. We had just started dating for real. And I realized it then. And she realized it before me. Like, she went down, she was like Santa Claus. She had her list and she checked it twice. And she realized, yo, God sent me who I prayed for, how I prayed for it to happen. And I couldn't ask for a better mate.
Now, this is not to say that my husband is perfect. But all in all, when it came to those deal breakers, he met those desires. So how would you say that, one, you knew what you like? How would you say that you knew that I was the one? Like, had you already prayed for me, or did you just kind of have like a desire in your heart? And then how did you know that you were ready to make me your wife? Like, how did you know, okay, that's my wife?
Well, to kind of give pretext to what we're discussing here, when I was younger, I had always and often prayed to God and asked Him about my mate, about specifics about her. And I would always talk to my friends and be like, man, this gonna be what my wife gonna be like, blah, blah, blah. She gonna be able to sing. She's gonna have this type of attitude, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, when I met her, boy, when it rained, it poured. Because I said that I wanted somebody that could deal with my attitude. And God gave me a counterbalance in the name of Jasmine.
Anyway.
So,
You are so silly.
but nah, like real talk, she is the yin to my yang. Like she balances me out. And I meant everything that I said earlier. She made me into a man. I had no choice but to become one. And that's not to say that I was less than a man before. But I didn't really understand what being a man was about until I met somebody that needed me to be one. And I rose to that occasion. But I knew I hate to say the cliche answer that you just know when you meet her. It was something in me that said, no, there is nothing else outside of this. This is it.
So,
and when I prayed, God confirmed that.
mm-hmm.
And because I had my innate ability to realize this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when God confirmed it, there was nothing else to be said about the matter. I was like, okay, we're getting married. And that was it. Now, of course, it took, 5 years for us to get married? 4?
I think it was 4, yeah.
It took 4 years later till we got married. I mean, we didn't just up and get married. Like, we knew that we had to be tested and tried before. Uh-oh.
Bless you. Bless you, sweet boy. So, continue, I'm sorry.
We knew that we had to go through trials and tribulations and all that stuff, get to know each other, get to know each other's families, all of that stuff. Because that stuff is equally as important. You're not just marrying your mate, you're marrying their family too.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the things that come with that mate, you inherit that. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to get to know her family, I wanted to get to know her people, like her friends, and let them get to know me. Like they need to understand what their friend and their family, their relative is getting with.
Yeah. And also, there was an age gap too. Because when we met, I was in high school. So, so was it hard to finally make that commitment? Because you mentioned earlier that you felt like that you would never get married or that you would never have children. And I remember telling him, oh, well, that sucks for you. I really hate that. I said, because I'm going to have a husband and I'm going to have children. That's the desire of my heart and God is going to give it to me. And here you guys are. So was it hard to commit, and why do you think that it's hard for some men to commit?
It wasn't hard to commit. I had my mind made up and I was sold. I think when it boils down to our situation, I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but I kind of had my feet planted on the soil that I was going to marry Jasmine. That's all there was to it. And, and especially when God put his stamp of approval on it. Like, I remember fasting and praying and stuff like that. And when God showed me that this was the one, I was like, okay, there literally is nothing else out there, even if I had other options. Because, I mean, technically you could say I did, but those options were not even options. Because if I married them, I would have ended up unhappy and probably running back to her. So, like, I already knew going into this, hey, this is your only shot. This is what you got, man. And I made my decision to commit every day from that step forward. Now, was it easy? No, but it was worth it. And I mean, I still wake up every morning to make that decision to commit to my wife and love my wife, because I mean, it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
As far as other men go, I think if a man is not willing to commit, there's one of two things happening. Either he himself is not sure about the situation of marriage or a relationship, or two, he's not sure of who he is. And that struggle with identity I can identify with, because I went through my life struggling with who I was, and with letting other people see the bad sides of me. because I always was raised as a church kid. People kind of looked at me as a church kid. When they needed advice, when they needed prayer, stuff like that, they hit me up. And so if I was having problems, that could potentially mess somebody else up. And I didn't want to be that. But that ended up having me be somebody else's Jesus. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't be that for somebody else. I had to be Jarvis. So when it boils down to it, I think that those two things play a huge factor in why somebody can't commit. Either they're not sold on the relationship or they're not sold on themselves. And so if they can't be sold on themselves and who they are and firm in their own identity, how can you expect them to love you the way that you need to be loved and give them your proper ways to be loved when they can't even explain to you how they should be loved? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So that was kind of my whole story. Like, that was how I knew. And I'm sure other men could attest, hey, you know, this is what happened, but this is how I knew. Yeah. Like, but most men will tell you, I just knew. Mm-hmm. Like, I was willing to take that chance and bet my whole life on this one individual. And that happened to be Jasmine. Mm-hmm. And
I'm happy you chose me.
Well, I couldn't have chosen nothing else.
No.
I couldn't have chosen nobody better.
Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Like we said, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we do have more videos coming soon. So, I guess that's it. Alright, see you guys later.
Peace.
Bye. Alright. Hey.